Podcast time. It's October 3rd, 2016, and let's get right into it. October is, of course, the time for the baseball playoffs. It's the time that NFL football gets into high gear, but I wanted to talk about neither of those things. I wanted to talk about the difference between television and movies and how there really seems like isn't any. Over the weekend, I binge watched Woody Allen's Amazon TV series Crisis in Six Scenes. I'm a longtime Woody Allen fan, and I enjoy his work even when I don't enjoy it, which in itself is a kind of a Woody Allen-ish statement. A lot was made of the fact that this is Mr. Allen's first television series on his own. Of course, he worked on the Sid Caesar show more than a half century ago, but this is the first show that he personally created. And while it's kind of true, it's also kind of not true, because Crisis in Six Scenes does not work at all as a television show. It doesn't have good stopping and starting points. It just kind of stops at the end of half an hour, and you want to watch another episode of it, it'll just start again. It doesn't really wrap anything into a conventional TV structure, and if you really want to be honest, it is a 3-hour movie, just chopped up into 6 spots where you can take a break, visit the restroom, whatever it is that you do in between episodes. I should point out also that I thought it was an okay, average kind of Woody Allen effort. Unfortunately, a bit offset by the questionable casting choice of Miley Cyrus, who, while she fits the role she's cast to on paper, doesn't have a lot of acting breadth and really very little humor. And that's unfortunate. But while Mr. Allen chooses to make a television program that really is a movie, on the other hand, it's beginning to seem like a lot of movies are just television shows, not just movies like Star Trek, which are made, based on television shows, but isn't it beginning to seem like the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe concept, stretching back from Iron Man to Captain America Civil War, and they're going into Doctor Strange this fall? Isn't it really just one big television show that only airs an episode every 9 to 10 months? I mean, it's the characters are all the same. You have to kind of keep the continuity in your head. It's not really, these aren't really standalone movies. It's episodic. I mean, you're just kind of seeing the next step in these characters' evolution every time you go to the movie theater. And that becomes a little bit hard because, even the best television shows have difficulty attracting a long-term audience when you're talking about, at this point it's been 8 years and probably another 8 to 9 years to go. That's a long time to keep the same people interested, and it's hard to get people caught up to speed if, for example, if they were in middle school when the first movie actually came out. This intermingling of television and movies is not at all surprising given that TV actors become movie actors become TV actors. The writers are the same, the directors are the same. It's just a matter of where the thing is. And since more and more of us actually watch our movies on television, I suppose it makes sense that it resembles more of a television experience. At the same time, I think we are beginning to see these cases where movies are not even as cinematic as some of the television shows that are out there. I think you could say that about Game of Thrones, which is incredibly cinematic. But yet, I lament this a little bit because when I go to the movies, and it's pretty rare these days, when I go to the movies, I really want to see a unique experience, something that I'm not going to see somewhere else. And on the other hand, when I'm watching television, I tend toward more comfort food type viewing, stuff that isn't incredibly challenging, with the exception of, there's always going to be one or two shows every year that I kind of get into that take a lot of thought. But man, if I were to take on every single thought-provoking, super heavy, deep drama about disturbed and broken people, I'd just be incredibly depressed all the time, and I'm sure that you wouldn't enjoy listening to my podcast. Matter of fact, what if my podcasts were nothing but deep, depressing, highly broken rants all the time? Yet that's what television has become. That kind of thing is great for movies, but for every single week, I don't like it. That's it for me for the Solid Signal podcast. Have a great week.